Hey, what's going on YouTube? You guys have tuned into Rules for Rebels, and we got an interesting story for you guys today. This one involves selling on Amazon. This guy you're looking at right here, he has 17,700 bottles of hand sanitizer and nowhere to sell them. Amazon has cracked down on blank price gouging. Now, while the rest of the world searches, some sellers are holding stockpiles of sanitizer and masks. So this guy stocked up, planning on selling these items on Amazon. Amazon and eBay, as we've done videos on, have cracked down on quote-unquote price gouging. And one thing that's kind of ironic or hypocritical about this, I didn't get a chance to really delve into the article, but somebody was like, oh, well, Amazon and eBay are talking a big game about stopping others from price gouging, but I think Amazon had raised the price of their very own hand sanitizer. So it's okay for Amazon themselves to price gouge, but God forbid anybody else do it. So I hadn't read that article, so I don't have all the details about that. If anybody has anything that they can comment about that, feel free to drop it down below. I'd also like to get your guys' opinions. Like, is this just business? Is this just the laws of supply and demand at work, and is this okay? Or do you feel it's kind of in poor taste, profiting during a national emergency like this and stockpiling and hoarding things to then squeeze other people for money? What are your thoughts on this? I'll kind of share mine with you. So generally speaking, I'm a free market guy, right? Like the laws of supply and demand, let them work. I'd like the government to stay out of all our businesses. I'd like the government to stay out of our way. But in situations like this, I mean, it's a free country. Everyone can do what they want. Personally, I think this guy's kind of a shitty person, right? Like, people are freaking out. This is what's causing the shortages. There's really no supply shortages of anything. What's actually changed is people's kind of buying behavior. So whereas stores don't keep a lot of stuff in stock because they can normally get anything in a day or two, because people are buying a year's worth of toilet paper, 2 years worth of hand sanitizer at one time, it's throwing off the supply chains because the supply chains are only used to people buying what they need. But this is kind of like people, overcharging for water during Hurricane Katrina, or overcharging for generators or gasoline during natural disasters. Like I said, I mean, it's a free country, but at the end of the day, I think we should all kind of take the attitude, I am my brother's keeper. Let's kind of be good citizens. I don't expect people to give out charity, but don't go around buying up everything so that nobody else can have anything. To me, that's just kind of shitty, right? If you want to be a prepper and kind of keep stuff for yourself and your own family and keep a couple weeks worth or even a couple months worth of stuff, fine, so be it. But like, this is just kind of excessive and kind of craziness. I'll tell you, and I'm not going to mention the name of what's causing all of this in this video. I was kind of making fun of other YouTubers for doing that. But here's the reason I don't want to do that. I could really care less about the $6 or $12 that I might make off ad revenue on this video. But once your video gets demonetized, it stops getting shown in YouTube searches as much. It stops getting shown as a recommended video on the side, and less people are going to see the video. And I thought this was an interesting topic, and I would like my audience to be able to see it, and I would like other people on YouTube to be able to see it. So for that reason, I'm going to avoid mentioning that beer word, and hopefully this video does stay monetized, which means more people will be able to see this video. Now, before we get into the article, I don't know how you guys feel about this. To me, here's the scariest thing about this whole thing, right? I'm not scared of the beer thing or getting the beer thing. If you believe what the media is telling us, which is like 70% of people are going to get this beer thing, we're all pretty much, I hate to say screwed because it's not going to be that big of a deal for most of us, but all of us are doomed in the sense that we're going to wind up getting the beer anyways, right? What's crazier and scarier to me is, one, how insane people are acting. When people are committing armed robberies and fighting people in the arms of Walmart, and fighting people in the aisles of Walmart over toilet paper, like, that's pretty scary, especially when, in the grand scheme of things, and I'm not downplaying this six-pack beer issue, but in the grand scheme of things, of all the things that could go wrong, like me and my girlfriend were watching a movie Armageddon the other day. Ben Affleck and, what's his name? Bruce Willis. And that, like, an asteroid was going to hit the Earth and the Earth was going to come to an end, right? Like, if something like that happened, if people are fighting each other over, and again, I'm not trying to downplay it and call it the flu, but if people are fighting each other over toilet paper in aisles over a really bad flu, imagine what people would do if, like, the city stopped pumping free clean water out to us. Imagine what would happen if for weeks at a time or even months at a time you couldn't get food at the grocery stores. Like, we would literally be killing each other over toilet paper. So that's one of the things that scared me most is kind of how crazy people are being and how selfish people are being. And then the second thing that really scares me is kind of how dependent we all are in the system. I'm not some, and I don't mean to make fun of preppers because I think they're actually kind of looking like the smart ones here, but I'm not some crazy prepper. I don't have 3 years worth of bottled water in my basement. I don't have a shipping container buried in my backyard that's going to be my, what's the word I'm looking for? My little compound under there. Nothing crazy like that, but I do think it's probably smart for people to be a little bit prepared. And it's kind of freaked me out and alarmed me a little bit how much we're all dependent on the system. It almost makes me want to buy some land, like out in the middle of nowhere in Michigan on a stream or something like that. And if shit ever hit the fan, I drop 10 or 12 or 15 grand on a piece of land that I can go kind of hide out and ride things out on. So I don't know about you guys, like, actually I took the time today to kind of throw together a backpack with a couple of guns, all my ammunition, a couple of boxes of granola bars that I had sitting around the house that I was selling on Amazon before, or I should say protein bars, a couple things of Advil. So I got, all my ammo and all my guns and stuff kind of ready to go in a little go bag. Got some peanut butter and some canned food, but like nothing crazy. I don't need months worth of stuff, just enough stuff so that if shit does go crazy, I got a few things around the house that I might need. So yeah, not to like alarm people, but I think it probably is smart to have at least a couple. The FEMA and all these people have been saying this for years. Have 30 days worth of food and water and supplies around the house, regardless. Even during good times. Anyhow, all that crazy rambling. Hope I didn't alarm anybody. But that's another thing. I was actually looking. I was just kind of curious. I'm like, I wonder if people are buying up ammo. And I checked all the farming fleets within like an hour of me. Dick's Sporting Goods. Everyone's out of ammunition right now. So people are starting to think about this type of stuff. Anyhow, this article comes to us from the New York Times, and it's titled, "He has 17,700 bottles of hand sanitizer and nowhere to sell them. Amazon has cracked down on that word, price gouging. Now, while the rest of the world searches, some sellers are holding stockpiles of sanitizer and masks. On March 1st, the day after the first that word death in the United States was announced, brothers Matt and Noah Colvin set out in a silver SUV to pick up some hand sanitizer. Driving around Chattanooga, Tennessee, they hit a Dollar Tree, then a Walmart, a Staples, a Home Depot. At each store, they cleaned out the shelves. Now, if you guys are out of toilet paper, I was literally down to a half roll of toilet paper on Friday when I realized that people were going all nuts. And normally I shop at Costco, right? So I buy, it's only me and my girlfriend. I buy one of those big Costco things of toilet paper, and it probably lasts me for a month and a half. So I was down to my last half roll, and normally I just swing by Costco and grab a thing. But obviously you can't find toilet paper anywhere. All the Kleenex is bought out because now people are wiping their asses with Kleenex if they can't get toilet paper. The lady at the dollar store was actually like seriously telling people, oh no, but buy these napkins, not those napkins. These napkins can be ripped into four. I know, like, I'm getting a little bit off topic here. I know bidets are a popular, like, drop shipping item. Now wouldn't be a bad time to have a bidet. If you got a bidet, you don't got to, you don't need toilet paper to wipe your ass. You just spray your ass off with the bidet thing. All right, I'm getting way off track here. Yeah. That was my point. So, if you are out of, paper towels or toilet paper, try to go to places where most people aren't going to be going to stock up and hoard, or where most people might not think to go. So they mentioned Office Depot here, but when everyone hears about toilet paper and people start going nuts over themselves and running out to buy a year's worth of toilet paper, most people are going to go to Costco or Walmart or the grocery store. So if you hit up like the dollar store or a Staples or an Office Depot, I think by now those stores are even cleaned out. But go to the places where most people aren't going to go to stock up, or most people aren't going to think to go. Anyhow, over the next 3 days, Noah Gavin took a 1,300-mile road trip across Tennessee and into Kentucky, filling a U-Haul truck with thousands of bottles of hand sanitizer and thousands of packs of antibacterial wipes, mostly from little hole-in-the-wall dollar stores in the backwoods, his brother said. The major metro areas were cleaned out. Matt Colvin stayed home near Chattanooga, preparing to sell 4 pallets of even more wipes and hand sanitizer he had ordered, and starting to list them on Amazon. Mr. Colvin said he had posted 300 bottles of hand sanitizer and immediately sold them all for between $8 and $70 each, multiples higher than what he had bought them for. To him, it was crazy money. To many others, it was profiteering from a pandemic. And here's an interesting thing. Here's something I was thinking about the other day. Whenever I go to like marketing conventions, e-commerce conventions, whether it be like Digital Summit, eBay Open, IRCE, etc., a lot of times it's like corporate swag. People will give away hand sanitizers with their brand name printed on them with like a little string you can tie it around your backpack with. I was wondering if any of these promotional companies still have hand sanitizer, because who's really thinking about those spots? You know, most people are going to be going to Amazon and eBay. Anyhow, as we continue on, the next day, Amazon pulled his items and thousands of other listings for sanitizers, wipes, and face masks. The company suspended some of the sellers behind the listings and warned many others that if they kept running up prices, they'd lose their accounts. eBay soon followed with even stricter measures prohibiting any U.S. sales of hand sanitizers or face masks. Now, I'm not really sure how I feel about that. Some of you guys had kind of commented, which is actually a really good point. Some of you guys had commented, well, now there's all these sellers who have thousands of bottles of this stuff that's pretty much just been taken out of circulation. So you're actually kind of, even though these guys were maybe shitty people, depending on where your views are on this, now they have a garage full of stuff that they're never going to use, and nobody else can get their hands on it either. So is that really a good move? So I thought that was an interesting point that a lot of you guys had brought up. Let's see. Now, while millions of people across the country search in vain for hand sanitizer to protect themselves from the spread of that word, Mr. Colvin is sitting on 17,700 bottles of this stuff with little idea where to sell them. Now, I have seen people on OfferUp and Let Go and 5 Miles and apps like that selling toilet paper and stuff. So you could do that, but I doubt he's going to get rid of 17,000 of them trying to go that route. He said, it's been like a huge whiplash, he said. From the beginning, in a situation where I've got coming and going, could potentially put my family in a really good place financially, to what the heck am I going to do with all of this? And you know, I've had something similar happen to me with Amazon. It wasn't with hand sanitizer. I found a distributor of licensed like MLB memorabilia. And back when the Cubs won the World Series a few years back, was that 2015, 2016, something like that? It might have even been 2017. If we got any Cubs fans here, let me know what year that was. But me and my business partner, that year they won the World Series, started selling like car stickers, car magnets, car flags, house flags, specialty packs of like Cubs World Series cards. And we wound up buying a bunch of stuff. And about a week later, you know, it's always been kind of a weird gray area with selling licensed stuff. But about a week later, Amazon and eBay both kind of got on board with the MLB to where they were pulling listings. So I guess the MLB, NFL, NHL, most of the major sports leagues, they want to be the only people selling their stuff on those sites. And I'm not really aware what the situation is now, but a couple years ago, they went through a period where it actually started being enforced. Now, according to Amazon's own terms of service, they say that they won't get in the middle of distribution fights, which is exactly what that was. But Amazon actually gave us an intellectual property violation strike, even though we had bought licensed stuff from an officially licensed MLB retailer. Our stuff had the real holograms. We had all the paperwork to go with it. And Amazon not only took down our listings, but gave us an intellectual policy strike for selling stuff that actually was officially MLB licensed. And we wound up getting stuck with a fair amount of stuff. It wasn't a huge loss for us because we'd sold a lot of the stuff and we made a lot of money. But I knew another guy who had bought like 50,000 items, had them sitting in a warehouse. He did have a brick and mortar retail store. But when, you know, Amazon decided, you know, basically said that he couldn't sell that stuff anymore, you know, his retail store and his Shopify store are never going to go through that much stuff. So he actually wound up going bankrupt and going out of business because of that. So, you know, just something to be careful of. You know, if you're an eBay seller, an Amazon seller, anytime you sell on a platform where somebody has any form of control over you, you know, things like this can wind up happening. Let's see. Mr. Colvin is one of probably thousands of sellers who have amassed stockpiles of hand sanitizer and crucial respirator masks that many hospitals are now rationing. According to interviews with 8 Amazon sellers and posts in private Facebook and Telegram groups from dozens more, Amazon said it had recently removed hundreds of thousands of listings and suspended thousands of sellers' accounts for price gouging related to that word. Amazon, eBay, Walmart, and other online e-commerce platforms are trying to stop their sellers from making excessive profits from a public health crisis. While the companies aim to discourage people from hoarding such products and jacking up their prices, many sellers had already cleared out their local stores and started selling the goods online. Now, both physical and digital shelves are nearly empty. Michaela Kozlowski, a nurse in Dudley, Massachusetts, has been searching for hand sanitizer since before she gave birth to her first child, Nora, on March 5th. When she searched stores which were sold out, she kept getting gas to avoid... She skipped getting gas to avoid handling the pump, and when she checked Amazon, she couldn't find it for less than $50. You're being selfish hoarding resources for your personal gain, she said to other sellers. Sites like Amazon and eBay have given rise to a growing industry of independent sellers who snatch up discounted or hard-to-find items in stores and post them online and sell around the world. These sellers call it retail arbitrage, a 21st century career that has adults buying up everything from limited-run cereals to fingerling monkeys. And maybe I'm a shitty person because I bought up all the fingerling monkeys a couple years ago. Obviously, we all have to make our own, moral and ethical decisions about stuff like this. I have no problem buying up fingerling monkeys, reselling them, but if it came to bottled water or health necessities, at least from my standpoint, it's not something that I want to participate in. A once hot toy. The bargain hunters look for anything they can sell at a sharp markup. In recent weeks, they found perhaps their biggest opportunity, a pandemic. As they watched the list of Amazon's most popular search crowd with items like Purell, N95 masks, and Clorox wipes, sellers said they did what they had learned to do, suck up supply and then sell for what the market would bear. The initial strategy had worked for several weeks. Prices soared for some of the top results to search for sanitizer, masks, and wipes on Amazon, according to a New York Times analysis of historical prices from Jungle Scout, which tracks data for Amazon sellers. One thing about Jungle Scout is catching a lot of flack right now. They actually violate Amazon Chrome's terms of service. They inject their own ads. Like if you have the Jungle Scout Chrome extension on your toolbar, even if you're browsing Amazon not looking for items, they're injecting their own ads into Amazon and they aren't telling people about it, which is actually a violation of Google Chrome's Play Store policy terms of service. And this is one of the reasons you got to be careful what you download on your computer and be careful what Chrome extensions you use. And a lot of people are kind of saying like, okay, if Jungle Scout doesn't really care about rules and things like that, what are they doing with our data? So, I'm not going to get into that whole story right now. Maybe we'll cover it on a future video. But if any of you guys are using Jungle Scout and that's something that kind of concerns you, what they're doing with your data, definitely look into that. If I can find a link, I'll try to drop it below so you guys can at least read that for yourself. The data shows that both Amazon and third-party sellers like Mr. Colvin increased their prices, which then mostly dropped when Amazon took action against price gouging this month. And I got a little chart here I'm looking at where you can kind of see the average price of hand sanitizer went from $20 to about $80 over the course of, maybe 2 months. N95 masks went from like $15 up to, looks like $170, $180. The article goes on to say, at the high prices, people still bought the products in mass, and Amazon took a cut of roughly 15%, eBay roughly 10%, depending on the price and the seller. Then the companies, pressured by growing criticism from regulators and customers, cracked down. After the measures last week, Amazon went further on Wednesday, restricting sales of any that word-related products from certain sellers. Price gouging... excuse me, guys. I think I got the beer. Let's see. Price gouging is a clear violation of our policies, unethical, and in some areas illegal, Amazon said in a statement. In addition to terminating these third-party seller accounts, we welcome the opportunity to work directly with states' attorneys general to prosecute bad actors. Now, this is kind of funny, right? Amazon enables the platform to allow these people to sell these items. Amazon allows them to price gouge, and then once kind of public backlash and regulator and government backlash kind of turns, well, now all of a sudden Amazon wants to help prosecute people? Like, get the fuck out of here, Amazon. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Tekashi 6ix9ine hiring somebody to kill somebody, and then once he gets caught, Tekashi 6ix9ine, the guy who wanted the hit done in the first place, turns on the lowly guy he hired to do it, and then Tekashi 6ix9ine gets off with no prison time. This is like, to me, this is exactly what Amazon is doing. And one more thing, let's shit on Jeff Bezos a little bit more here. I thought this was kind of stupid. So obviously MLB, NBA have canceled. Pretty much every league has canceled their seasons. The United Center, the Bulls, and the Blackhawks have announced that they're going to pay their non-salaried hourly employees through the rest of the season because of all this going on. And Jeff Bezos, I don't know if he's the richest man, but one of the richest men, you know what Jeff Bezos suggested? He suggested his minimum wage employees share their sick days with other employees who are actually sick. So while some companies are, I don't think any company is obliged to do anything, but at the same time, I think we should give props to the companies who are supporting their employees. The United Center, Blackhawks, Bulls are supporting their employees and paying them, and Jeff Bezos does nothing and suggests that his employees making $13 an hour donate their 6 days to their fellow employees so that when they eventually get sick, they don't have any of their own sick days. And good luck hoping that Bezos is going to do anything for you. Let's see, Bezos, you fucking snitch, man. Mr. Colvin, 36, a former Air Force technical sergeant, said he started selling on Amazon in 2015, developing it into a six-figure career by selling Nike shoes and pet toys and by following trends. In early February, as headlines announced the beer thing spread in China, Mr. Colvin spotted a chance to capitalize. A nearby liquidation firm was selling 2,000 pandemic packs, leftovers from a defunct company. Each came with 50 face masks, 4 bottles of hand sanitizer, and a thermometer. The price was $5 a pack, and Mr. Colvin haggled it down to $3.50 and bought them all. He quickly sold all 2,000 of the 50 packs and masks on eBay, pricing them $40 to $50 each, and sometimes higher. He declined to disclose his profit on the record, but said it was substantial. The success stoked his appetite. When he saw the panicked public starting to pounce on hand sanitizer and wipes, he and his brothers set out to stock up. Elsewhere in the country, other Amazon sellers were doing the same. Chris Anderson, an Amazon seller in central Pennsylvania, said he and a friend had driven around Ohio buying about 10,000 face masks from stores. He used coupons to buy the 10 packs for around $15 each and resold them for $40 to $50. After Amazon's cut and other costs, he estimates he made $25,000 profit. Mr. Anderson is now holding 500 packs of antibacterial wipes after Amazon blocked him from selling them for $19 each, up from $16 weeks earlier. He bought the packs for $3 each. Eric, a truck driver from Ohio who spoke on a condition that his surname not be published because he feared Amazon would retaliate, said he had also collected about 10,000 masks at stores. He bought each 10-pack for about $20 and sold most for roughly $80 each, though some he priced at $125. Even at $125 a box, they were selling almost instantly, he said. It was mind-blowing as far as what you could charge. He estimates he made $35,000 to $40,000 profit. Now he has 1,000 more masks on order, but he's not sure what to do with them. He said Amazon had been vague about what constituted price gouging, scaring away customers who don't want to risk losing their ability to sell on the site. To regulators and many others, the sellers are sitting on a stockpile of medical supplies during a pandemic. The Attorney General offices in California, Washington, and New York are all investigating price gouging related to the beer thing. California's price gouging laws bar sellers from increasing the price by more than 10% after officials declare an emergency. New York's law prohibits sellers from charging on, and this is vague, a quote-unquote unconscionably excessive price during emergencies. An official at the Washington Attorney General office said the agency believed it could apply the state's consumer protection law to sue platforms or sellers even if they aren't in Washington, as long as they were trying to sell to Washington residents. Washington is a state that goes after everybody for everything and tries to get money out of you. Just an FYI to everybody out there. I've actually been sued by Washington before. Tennessee, where Mr. Colvin lives, has a price gouging law that bars people from charging unreasonable prices for essential goods and services, including gasoline, in a direct response to a disaster. According to a state website on Saturday, after the Times published this article, the Tennessee Attorney General's office said it had sent investigators to Mr. Colvin's home, given him a cease and desist letter, and was now investigating his case. Mr. Colvin does not believe he was price gouging while he charged $20 on Amazon for 2 bottles of Purell that retail for $1 each. He said people forget that his price includes his labor, Amazon's fees, and about $10 in shipping. Alcohol-based sanitizer is pricey to ship because officials consider it a hazardous material. Current price gouging laws are not built for today's day and age, Mr. Colvin said. They're built for Billy Bob's gas station, doubling the amount he charges for gas during a hurricane. He added, just because it cost me $2 in the store doesn't mean it's going to cost me $16 to get it to your door. And that actually is a fair point. One thing I will say in fairness to this guy is Amazon fulfillment fees are insane. Amazon also charges 15%. Maybe we should go after Amazon for price gouging, right? Amazon's fulfillment fees can get crazy, especially on hazardous materials or heavier or bulkier things, which like a big old jug of hand sanitizer could potentially be. Plus, there's added fees for hazardous goods. So these profit margins probably aren't as crazy as they maybe sound to some people. But what about the morality of holding products that can prevent the spread of the virus just to turn a profit? Mr. Colvin said he was simply fixing inefficiencies in the marketplace. Some areas of the country need these products more than others. He's helping send the supply towards the demand. There's a crushing, overwhelming demand in certain cities right now, he said. The Dollar General in the middle of nowhere outside of Lexington, Kentucky doesn't have that. He thought about it more. I honestly feel like it's a public service, he added. I'm being paid for my public service. I don't know about all that. As for his stockpile, Mr. Colvin said he would now probably try to sell it locally. If I can make a slight profit, that's fine, he said. But I'm not looking to be in a situation where I make the front page of the news for being the guy who hoarded $20,000 of hand sanitizer that I'm selling for 20 times what they cost. You know, he didn't have to participate in his article. He pretty much made himself that guy. After the Times published this article on Saturday morning, Mr. Colvin said he was exploring ways to donate all the supplies. Let's read the comments. There's 4,000 comments here. I honestly don't see the problem. If folks are willing to pay that amount, who cares? If I really wanted something, I'd prefer to have the option of buying it rather than being denied that opportunity. Mind you, Amazon and eBay are private businesses and can do whatever they like. It just seems silly to me. Let people buy it if they want to. Let's see, the next guy. I'm basically sympathetic to him. It might, and he puts that in quotes, might be reasonable for Amazon to cap the price he can charge and make clear to anyone buying from him that they won't be allowed to resell at a higher price, but making it harder and impossible for people willing to pay those prices to buy from him, that's totalitarian, and I hope that the Trump administration will pursue an antitrust action against Amazon and eBay for this. The CDC should commandeer 95% of this man's supply, pay him a fair price, leave him 5% for his personal use, bid him a nice day, and leave with the bulk of the hand sanitizer. Distribute the commandeered items to frontline doctors, nurses, and hospitals in need. So it seems like we're getting opinions on both sides here. We'll read a couple more. As someone who lives in the communities this guy stripped, it has been absolute madness trying to find hand sanitizer, masks, or even bleach. Now, here's one other thing to consider. Hand sanitizer and face masks really aren't going to help you. Like, they might help you from the flu or the common cold. From what I'm hearing, these things really aren't going to protect you from the coronavirus anyways. So this is kind of all for naught, but whatever. As someone who lives in the, let's see, in the meantime, COVID, oh, fuck, I said it. I don't know, hopefully they don't catch that one. Anyhow, in the meantime, beer has just popped up in Chattanooga, Knoxville, and the Tri-Cities, places I bet he visited on his way to Kentucky. And this guy, the new poster child for the banality of evil, stripped all the store shelves from there to the border. What are immune-suppressed people supposed to do? I hope he thinks long and hard about his 17,000 bottles of hand sanitizer when people start dying. Let's see, we'll read one more. Don't blame him, blame the store for not rationing supplies and selling them. In NZ, lots of stores are taking the lead and rationing certain shop supplies. Not his fault. It is the shop that sold him. It's the shop's fault. And you know what? That's actually a good point. After the initial day or two of craziness, I have seen like Costco has all the TP behind a barricade, and you can go up and get one. When I was at Target the other day, they were allowing everybody to buy one bottle of water and one pack, or one case of water and one pack of paper towels. Like, if everybody only bought what they needed, there would be plenty to go around. But anyhow, long rambling video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know your thoughts on this situation. Is this a good guy? Is this a bad guy? Is this a shitty thing to do? Is this an okay thing to do? Is this just business 101? Let me know your guys' thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you are not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.